Before Esther was a queen, she was an orphan. Her Hebrew name was Hadassah, and after losing her father and mother, she was raised by her older cousin Mordecai. She was a Jewish woman living in the vast Persian Empire. Nothing about her ordinary life suggested that she would one day stand before a king with the fate of her people hanging in the balance. At the time, King Ahasuerus ruled the Persian Empire. During a great royal banquet, he commanded Queen Vashti to appear before his guests and display her beauty. But Vashti refused. The king became angry, and eventually she was removed from her position as queen. And now the palace needed a new queen. After Vashti was removed, young women from throughout the kingdom were brought to the palace. Esther was among them. Mordecai gave her an important instruction: do not reveal that you are Jewish. So Esther entered the palace carrying a secret that could eventually become incredibly important. Eventually, the king chose Esther. The orphaned Jewish girl became queen of Persia, but the king still did not know that she was Jewish, and Mordecai remained near the king's gate. Esther had reached a position of extraordinary influence without yet knowing why. Then came Haman. The king had elevated him above the other officials, and everyone was commanded to honor him. But Mordecai would not bow to Haman, and Haman became furious. His anger toward one man eventually became hatred toward an entire people. Haman plotted to destroy the Jews throughout the Persian Empire. Mordecai learned what Haman had done. He mourned publicly and sent word to Esther. He even sent her a copy of the decree ordering the destruction of the Jews. Then he asked Esther to go before the king and plead for her people. But Esther knew exactly what that could mean. Esther sent a message back through Hathach. She explained that anyone who entered the king's inner court without being summoned could be put to death, and she hadn't been summoned to see the king for 30 days. She wasn't refusing because she didn't care. She understood the danger. She could lose her life simply by approaching the king. Then Mordecai sent Esther a message that changed everything. He told her not to assume that her position in the palace would protect her while her people were threatened. And then he asked, "Who knows? Perhaps you have come to your royal position for such a time as this." Mordecai didn't tell her that everything would be easy. He reminded her that staying silent had consequences too. Esther made her decision. She asked Mordecai to gather the Jews in Susa and fast for her for 3 days. She and her attendants would fast as well. Then she would go to the king. And she said, "If I perish, I perish." Esther was not fearless. She was courageous because she acted despite the danger. After the 3 days, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court. The king saw her, and instead of ordering her death, he extended his golden scepter. Esther approached and touched it. She had taken the step she feared most. The king asked Esther what she wanted, but Esther didn't immediately reveal Haman's plan. Instead, she invited the king and Haman to a banquet, and at that banquet, she invited them to another banquet the following day. Esther was moving carefully. She knew what she needed to say. She was simply waiting for the right moment to say it. At the second banquet, the king asked Esther again what she wanted, and this time she told him. She revealed that she was Jewish, and she told the king that her people had been condemned to destruction. Then she pointed to the man responsible, Haman. Haman's plan collapsed. The very destruction he had planned for Mordecai ultimately came back upon him. Mordecai was honored, and the king gave Esther and Mordecai authority to issue a new decree allowing the Jews to defend themselves. The situation that had looked hopeless had been completely reversed. The Jewish people were delivered from the threat against them. Their mourning turned into joy. Their fear turned into celebration. And Mordecai and Esther established a yearly celebration called Purim so that the deliverance would be remembered. Esther's story isn't simply about a woman who became a queen. It's about what she did when the position she had been given suddenly required courage. She could have stayed silent. She could have protected herself. She knew the risk, and she chose to step forward anyway. We don't always know why we're in the situations we're in. We don't always understand what God is doing. And sometimes, like Esther, we may not even see the whole picture. But we can still choose what we do with the position we're in. Maybe you have influence over one person. Maybe you have an opportunity to speak up. Maybe someone needs you to be courageous when remaining silent would be easier. You don't have to see the whole plan to take the next right step. Esther didn't know how the story would end when she walked into that court. She simply knew what she needed to do. And sometimes, courage is simply taking that next step, even when you're afraid. What if you're where you are for a reason? And that is the story of Esther, a story that still matters